Building a successful B2B brand is not about knowing your ARR. It's actually about understanding the data that gets you to that revenue goal. And I will stand on that, put it on my grave till the day I am gone. Because after working with more than 400 companies at my consultancy systems, with production teams, writing teams, SaaS teams, marketing teams, and people in the creator spaces, there's one piece of data that my clients have never been able to answer about their sales process. And that, my friends, is their conversion rate. So in this video, I'm going to share a few ways for you to better understand your own sales data, all by implementing a very simple system that helps you close the loop on every proposal and cycle and gives you the information necessary to inform future conversations and close more leads. 7 years ago, when I first started consulting, I went through a never-ending period of ghosted leads. It was like I was frankly throwing spaghetti at the wall and just hoping one single noodle would stick so I could pay my rent. And it was so frustrating to not just be told no, but to literally be told nothing at all. And finally, after probably the 20th time that this happened, I decided it was time to rework my sales system and figure out a way to not feel like such a sinking ship. But the biggest question that I had from all this was, why were leads not signing on? I had no idea if it was budget, timing, vibes. And at this point, I quickly was learning that even if you had a solid sales call and the vibes were vibing, nothing is guaranteed until that contract is signed. And so the first thing that I did was I went back to everyone that had ghosted me and I actually emailed them. This was, of course, nerve-wracking, right? Because you never want to sound desperate, but time had passed and really I didn't have any more hard feelings about losing the project. And so I asked why they went with someone else, like verbatim, that simple. And I actually got some really good insight back because the majority of people that did answer, were kind enough to say, hey, like you were just out of my budget. And some went even further to say, yes, you were out of my budget, but I was actually really embarrassed to tell you that. And it was so interesting to me because even if the bigger brands were uncomfortable to share that they reached out without a set budget in place, how often was this actually happening across the board? And so the question from there became, how could I get this data without having to manually follow up and make it weird? And this is what today's video answers. So this system is very much a set it and forget it process that you can frankly implement in the next 10 minutes. And it is what I call my approval decline process. Now, before I share exactly what to do, it's important to note that my offers are universal. So I do not do custom proposals. I do not do custom budgets, which actually makes for me implementing this way easier than maybe some of those of you who do more custom work. And the other piece of that, just like a side note, is that when you're customizing things, you're customizing the deliverables, you're not customizing the process in which people say yes, okay? So it doesn't mean that you can't implement this. It just means that you're gonna have to do a little bit of zhuzhing on your end, and it might take a little bit longer, but I know you can get there.
All right.
Quick reality check. If you're still figuring out how to deliver your offer after somebody has paid you, you have built all of your workflows backwards, okay? It doesn't make you a bad business owner, but it just means that your systems are duct tape and vibes. And that is no way to scale your business. So that's why I made you a full playbook to help fix that. My customer journey playbook walks you through every part of your client journey and shows you exactly where your back end is breaking down. From sales to onboarding to client delivery, and yes, even how you get referrals. Ready to dive in? You can grab it for free below.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Now back to the video. So the other piece of this is that I run all of my contracts as forms on Paperform. I'm not writing custom contracts for anybody, which means that I can actually use conditional routing on specific pieces of this process. So my approval decline process is literally as simple as asking, do you approve this proposal? I flat out ask that. Even though my offers are universal, obviously we still want to make sure that the client agrees with what they're getting into with little to no variation. And so in the onboarding form, they're presented with this first single question. And if they select yes, then the form reroutes to the MSA, the NDA, and the service agreement. They then, of course, sign, submit, and move through onboarding. However, if they select no, then they're presented with the second question of why. This question is a radio select, so they can simply say budget, time, they were just shopping around. But it also includes an other option. And so if they want to share more context with me, they're more than welcome to. And then all they have to do is type their company name, hit submit, and walk away. No hard feelings, no love lost, done, boom, goodbye. So since implementing this single step into my sales process, I have reduced ghosted leads by literally 95%. I'm not even kidding. And out of 150 leads, maybe 5 of those are ones that ghosted me. But honestly, like looking back at last year, I feel like I probably shouldn't have gotten on those sales calls. So do they even count? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. But making this seemingly small challenge in order to close my sales loops actually has had a much bigger impact on my business. From improving the quality of my inquiry form, I actually can ask way better questions on there now, to the way I host sales calls and to the way that I present information on my website has drastically increased the quality of my clients and my projects. And I frankly shout out to the people who weren't ready to work with me because I could not have done it without them.
I appreciate that.
So the other piece of this is that after I get all of this data, I circle back to my CRM and I just simply drop it in there. AKA, all I do is change a little cute select status and move on with my life, which means that I can confidently say that now today, in the year of our Lord 2025, my conversion rate is 89%. And that's it. Because my loops are closed in my sales cycle and I know all of my data very strongly. So I challenge you to take 5 minutes today, update your CRM, reach out to past leads that you lost, figure out why they didn't work with you if you're not already asking, and implement this single question to your proposals and see where it takes you.
Ew.
Hey, did you know that staying up till midnight answering client emails isn't a business strategy? Download my free customer journey workbook and start fixing the systems breaking behind the scenes today.